Okay, so this video explains how you can use Google Autocomplete in React app. So in React app, we use the function components or the class components. In this example, I'm going to show you how you can do in the function component. So function component has got this written statement, and whatever you want to render is passed here. So you can see we are just using this div form, this label, all these basic HTML elements. So this thing will be rendered when this component is rendered basically. And over there we have got one input field. So we are using this ref is equal to autocomplete ref. So basically we are using the ref hook. So ref hook allows you to access the element from the React app. And on change event is there. So when on change event is triggered, this particular function will be called. And basically in this function we are using the use state hook to update the state, and then once the state is updated, this component will be re-rendered. And here we have got autocomplete is off and the placeholder is enter city or address, whatever it is. So this is the first step that you need to do. Now what we want to do is another thing that we want to do is we want to load that autocomplete JavaScript from Google. So to do that we are using the another hook that is called as use effect. So use effect, this particular function will be called as soon as the component is rendered, and we are calling this function, we are passing this function into that function. So it is higher order function basically, and we are calling one method load script. This is custom method, user defined method, and we are passing this particular URL. So basically we are fetching that JavaScript Google API, and you will need to pass the API key as well. Here you can see key, we have written key is equal to whatever API key you got from Google, you can put there. And then over here we are calling this handle script load function. This is again user defined function. So if what we are passing here is set query, that is the reference to that function basically, which allows you to update the state, and autocomplete ref. So these two things are passed, and autocomplete ref is basically a reference to the input element in our React app. So let us see what is there in this load script and handle script load. So you can see in the load script URL and callback is there. So what we are doing is we are creating the script element, then script type is JavaScript, and then script dot source is equal to URL, the thing we are doing, and then script dot ready state. On ready state change, ready state is loaded, complete the script dot on ready state change is null, and then callback is called. So what's happening here is we are just adding this script to this head element in our HTML page. So normally if you are using the traditional HTML page, then you don't need to do that. You can just use the script tag in our application, but with React you will need to use this particular code to load our JavaScript, Google JavaScript API. And then we are passing this callback, that is handle script load. So handle script load, what it is doing is it is creating the instance of the autocomplete class, and that's where we are linking this our input element, and also giving the restrictions for our component, like if you want to render the addresses from Australia, and if you want to return the types of address, then you can use this particular syntax or the options. And then autocomplete instance is ready. We are setting the fields. Set fields allows us to return specific components of the address, and then we are adding the listener on the place change event. So what happens is as soon as the user selects the place from that suggestions, this function is going to be called, and then what we are passing here is that update query or set state reference. So what's happening here is autocomplete.get place. Once user is selected the place, it will get that place, and then we are calling the set states. That means the object or the component will be re-rendered. Here the state is changing or state is updating. And what we are doing is basically, when the component is being rendered, if the user has selected address, then this condition will be true, and then we are retrieving these details like street number, street name, suburb name, city name, state name, postcode, etc. Once these details are there, so if user has not selected, this will be null, and then this code will be not be executed. So by default this will be empty, and over there we are storing those details, whatever we captured. You can see here, this is one React app, and there you can give the address, let's say 66, and then you can see the list of addresses are coming from Australia only, because we have given the restrictions of the Australia. And then you can select it, and you can see this thing is being set, postal code, state, etc. And you can see the address component of this object. So these details are coming from the Google API, this thing. And we are just retrieving that data and putting it here. I hope it helped you to understand how you can use this Google autocomplete in your React app. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching this video.